This is Kim Meyer, host of Choose to Rise. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
You're listening to Catch Up, an official news production of Public House Media.
Today is July 30th, 2020, and it's time to catch up on the news that you need to know about.
Today we're helping you catch up on the tense oversight hearing with Attorney General Barr,
The Ellen DeGeneres Show under investigation,
Trader Joe's decision to keep controversial international food titles,
and as always, ending with a little bit of good news for you today.
We're your hosts, Dan Kotnick
And Catherine Smith. Welcome to Catch Up.
Attorney General William Barr made the trip to Capitol Hill yesterday to appear in front of the House Judiciary Committee, his first such appearance in front of the committee in his 17 months as Attorney General. Things became heated quickly as committee Democrats showed early on they were not going to play nice during the hearing, as right off the bat they skipped any niceties typically offered to congressional witnesses.
Democrats also repeatedly cut off responses from Barr early and accused him of being wrong or flat out lying, and even refused him extra time after each lawmaker's minutes were up, forcing Republican representatives to use their allotted time to let Barr respond back. And as expected, both parties came out strong, hitting their political talking points.
Democrats used the opportunity to interview Barr to attack his and the Trump administration's handling of cases and issues that directly involve the president, accusing both of putting the president's interests ahead of the country. Several of the Black Democratic members also grilled Barr about his thoughts on systemic racism in policing and the Justice Department's handling of nationwide protests and unrest.
Barr and his fellow Republicans on the committee used appearance to move the discussion towards attacks on police and the Democrats' lack of speaking out against the violence. Barr and Republicans also reasserted their position of mail-in voting, leading to more voter fraud, an issue that has become more of a hot-button topic in recent weeks. The Ellen DeGeneres Show is currently under internal investigation by its parent company, Warner Media, after a number of former employees have been quoted to allegations of having a, quote, toxic work environment, end quote. In a report from BuzzFeed News, 1 current and 10 former staff members claim to be victims of bullying and racism.
That's right, Catherine. And in a statement by Chairman of Reputation Management Consultants, Eric Schiffer, he states that the investigation could have, quote, deadly consequences for Ellen, end quote, and her brand, stating, quote, she could be perpetrating one of the biggest frauds in American celebrity history, he suggested. There are now serious investigators looking into the allegations, and if the findings are as damning as what have been reported, then you could watch The Ellen Show go boom, end quote.
Now, from my understanding as well, that Schiffer wasn't so surprised when the news of the investigation broke because, quote, there have been too many assertions that are credible, and if the leadership team at Warner Media didn't act, they would feel the wrath of the public, end quote.
As one of the largest daily public television shows, this comes as a huge surprise, which will cultivate a lot of conversation. We will more than definitely have to stay updated on the status of this ongoing investigation as well as the outcome of this case. Trader Joe's, one of the most well-known brand names in the grocery store field, announced this week it would not be changing the names of some of their international food labels. This seems to be a reversal of the chain's previous position, where it said earlier this month they would be replacing several international food labels and only use the Trader Joe's label. The stores traditionally used variations of the Trader Joe's label on different international foods they sell, such as Trader Jose's and Trader Ming's. In recent months, other product names and labels, considered by some to be insensitive or even racist, with even an online petition directly aimed at Trader Joe's that has collected over 4,500 signatures. In a statement, the chain said they base their decisions on feedback from customers and their crew members and, quote, don't make decisions based on petitions, end quote. They continued that, quote, we have heard from many customers reaffirming that these name variations are largely viewed in exactly the way they were intended, as an attempt to have fun with our product marketing, end quote.
Well, as the peak of the coronavirus pandemic continues, what do we have for good news today, Dan?
Well, an award-winning hero teacher in England who spent each day of quarantine preparing food for his students has finally made his last delivery, and he successfully donated 7,500 packed lunches.
Which is absolutely incredible. I mean, this hero from England, Zane Powell, diligently prepared over 85 lunches each morning after continuously fearing that his students would struggle to access food when the schools were abruptly shut down during the pandemic. As determined as he was, Powell walked over 7.5 miles each day to make his rounds for a total of 17 weeks.
Now, if my math is right, that is over 600 miles walked in the course of his runs in Northeast Lincolnshire. I mean, talk about dedication. It was even said that this 48-year-old estimated to have carried roughly 4 tons of food during that time, but made a statement that it was, quote, well worth it, end quote, after seeing the smiles on all the kids' faces.
Thanks for catching up on today's news with us. I'm Catherine Smith.
And I'm Dan Koenig. Please be sure to catch up with us again tomorrow for our final episode of Catch Up.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts.
We appreciate you listening to Catch Up. For even more content, follow Catch Up Digital on social media. Just search at Time for Catch Up.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on any of the stories that we covered today. Just use the hashtag #PassTheCatchup on social media.
Catch Up is an official production of Public House Media.